ladies and gentlemen. We're just plain living here, and I'm John Gray.
Good morning, John Gray. Try to wake me up, okay? Hey, Jim.
Hi, Peggy.
Everybody got a cattle
This is Peggy
prod?
Barton.
Yeah.
I'm Jim Fuller.
Peggy's sleepy. Why are you sleepy? You worn out?
Well,
Peggy leads an active social life.
She does.
I understand.
It's not my social life, trust me.
Well, last Thursday was the
Ice cream
social at South Jackson.
Have
Her
you ever
band
seen
played.
such good ice cream?
Oh, that stuff.
Oh my gosh,
the Groves.
The Groves, what wonderful people they
Cassie
are.
and Cassie Grove. Which I can't think. My mind's gone.
Furnished the ice cream.
Tony, yeah,
the
they had
servings
gelato.
were like this big.
Really?
It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of people don't know this, but they used to have the Southern Sundays at the Coker Building,
right,
where the Coker Cafe is now. But they have gone into the back there, and they have a creamery back there.
Oh,
they have
across
right over there. One of very few creameries registered creameries in the state of Tennessee.
No kidding.
That's the Legacy Creamery, and they have a Legacy Foundation for Eli, their son that was killed in an automobile accident, and they donated all of that gelato to the ice cream social, and they had a tip jar up there if you wanted to leave money.
Was that gelato?
Yeah, it's gelato. They don't make ice cream. They make gelato.
It tastes like ice cream.
Well,
it was
just
wonderful.
Gelato is ice cream on steroids.
It was wonderful.
It's ice cream with a punch.
Yeah.
And we were talking about Tennessee whiskey because Chris Stapleton was on the Today Show as we were coming on the air singing Tennessee whiskey, and they have Jack Daniels, the Jack Daniels gelato.
Oh, do they?
Oh,
do they?
Yeah.
It
has a little bit of the product
and a little bit of flavor to get that,
So, and every kind of anything you can think of, they have. And it was just wonderful, and they're great, great, great people.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Really good people.
So did your band play for that?
We did.
Yeah.
And you know what? There was lightning, there was thunder, and the clouds separated, and we never got
a drop.
And didn't get struck by lightning or anything.
Yeah. And then that all's going on with Peggy, and then she's in the throes. We're in the throes of. She's already finished writing the country show, but now commercials are being produced and trying to make it all come together. So that's why she's tired.
Yeah, and we need that for Peggy to keep her out of trouble.
Yeah,
she always has to have projects going to keep her out of trouble.
One day I'll just walk away. We'll see. Anyway, it's going to be a fun show. It's going to be a.
You're not going to walk away.
We were doing commercials last night, and most of them are supposed to make us laugh, and so if they don't, then we go back to the drawing board and try it again.
To the laugh-o-meter. It's a very unique show in that the commercials are written and done on stage, and they're what, minute and a half, 2 minutes?
1 minute.
1 minute.
We'll sell anybody a commercial.
Anybody. What's a commercial cost? $2.50?
No, they're cheap, I think, for what they get out of it.
Well, no, but it's $2.50.
It's $2.50.
Yeah. Well, I mean show.
We can't take any more, but we take just so many.
But the shows produced or put on stage 3 times to a full house, so that's 1,200, 1,500 people.
Get to see their commercial.
And you get to see their commercial, and the commercials have become as much a part of the show as the show is.
If I wasn't afraid I'd miss one of the people, we have some sponsors that have been with us for all this time. And I
38
really
years. This is the 38th year.
I figure I'll die up there one day.
Nah.
Screaming.
No, you won't. We won't let
in the middle of the.
We'll do like
you were just a kid when that started, weren't you?
I was just 12.
Yeah, right.
What's that song? Prop me up beside the jukebox when I die. We'll just prop you up there next to a lamppost.
When I first came to Tullahoma, I had done some singing with folk groups in Europe, and I kind of loved the idea of an event that was, in those days we didn't have air conditioning.
Festival type
and
thing.
I liked the festival type atmosphere, and that's kind of what went through my mind when I started that show. Mm-hmm. Plus, I thought it'd be a moneymaker, and it has been.
Has been, and there's up to how many different people are involved in this show, Peggy? The cast is 60, 70 folks.
There's a lot. If you count everything and everybody, probably 70.
70
people
folks
involved.
and up to 80, probably
Little.
75, 80 songs get done over 3 days.
From 6 years old to my age. So it's, every
Yeah.
age is out there.
Oh yeah, and it's a lot of fun, and for most of us, a lot of us, it's sort of like a homecoming because that's the only time in the year that a lot of us get to see each other.
And I bet Mary Jane Couch is flying in from Oregon just so she can be with us.
Just so she can be
Isn't
on
that
the
cool?
show. Yeah, it's really
I
cool.
think that's nice.
That
And
is
some of the
pretty good.
girls who I remember being that tall singing, now their children are that tall singing, and there's the mamas still singing. The Argo family never goes away. You think well that's
Yeah,
the
does
last Argo.
everybody in that family sing?
Oh, yeah.
I think they do.
I mean, Gary
They
used to
do.
sing karaoke with us, what, 30 years ago?
30 years ago, he was in our first karaoke show.
Right.
And I remember he walked up on the stage to sing Roy Orbison song, Crying.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, can't nobody sing that.
I know.
You know.
He did.
Yeah,
And he
oh,
did.
my
He was
goodness.
awesome.
Yeah, he was
You know, I
absolutely
need to let everybody
great.
know that I don't do that show by myself. I mean,
Oh,
that ought
heavens
to be
no.
obvious. I have some great help, some young help that just come in there and do what I
Well,
need.
you've had our dear friend and comedian and entertainer Melissa Sharan for years at your
She's-
side.
Melissa recognizes comedy right away.
Yeah, oh yeah, and she's hilarious.
Lynn Seaborn, he's the same way. Although his job is not comedy, it could be.
Yeah. And Mike
good-
Sneed and
oh
all.
my gosh.
There's all kinds of folks involved, and Bob Young and his Built on Blues
So the
band.
bottom line is go out there and get a ticket.
When is
Yeah.
this coming up, by the way?
11th.
11, 12, 13 of August.
August, okay.
Yeah.
Just 3 days. 3 different shows. by
3
the way.
different shows.
You mentioned back when South Jackson wasn't air conditioned, and
Oh, my God.
I forgot that used to be the case.
I put
yeah.
the program on a fan in those days.
Right.
So, you sit there and read your program and you could fan.
The back doors
Yeah, it
were
was kind of
open.
fun. All the doors were open. You go get a hot dog and this and that. And in those days, there wasn't so many rules.
No, that's true. And I mean, I can remember going to the Grand Ole Opry when it wasn't air
Yeah.
conditioned. And a lot of those old boys would come in out of the field, and they wouldn't stop by the house and shower.
I know.
They'd just come on in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it got ripe inside that place.
Sort of like a folk festival.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that was. They
But
wear the same costumes day after day.
It's kind of funny. I was reading the Louvin Brothers book, "The Devil Is Alive and Well," and of course that was about Ira, and pretty much that statement.
Yeah.
And they talk about when they would go to different churches and place when people from the Opry would come to an event and the windows would be up and
Yeah.
the little boys all they wanted to do was if they could just get close enough to be outside the window and peek in and pull up and hear something.
Yeah.
That was a successful journey for them.
Yeah.
And I can remember the Opry was the same way. And South Jackson was the same way. People would stand on that front porch and listen to the music. And
Have we gotten softer in our
Probably,
because
but-
it's hard to imagine that anymore. But
Country music has not always been my forte, and I have to admit I've only been to the Grand Ole Opry once
it's
in my
because you
entire
didn't
life.
drink enough beer. You have to. It helps if you drink beer. And
But-
John and I loved it.
There's something
Yeah.
homey
Yeah.
about it.
So-
In the old days, there's something very, just like being on your front porch, picking a guitar and singing.
That's right, that's
that
right,
Sort of
and that, you know,
atmosphere. I like that. I think we're missing that.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of the music today, doesn't tell a story, as John has talked about in country music. And
Sometimes they just take
there's
3
been-
words and repeat them for 15 minutes.
Yeah, I know. And in country music, there is some classic lines in country
heaven
music.
yes,
Absolutely
heaven yes.
classic
Don't
lines.
come home and drinking with 11 on your
With
mind.
11 on your mind.
Yeah.
That's
Starters.
right.
like Harlan
And
Howard
that's-
said, 3 chords in the truth is all
That's,
you need.
that's all you need. That's right.
3 chords
That's
in the
right.
truth.
Don't come
I
home
know.
and drinking with low
Loving on your mind.
I love
It's
that song.
Not good. That's
right.
going to be on this show, by
Yeah.
the way. We're adding. Remember back many years ago, we had a little Opry segment.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Children.
Yeah.
Well, those children have grown up. And so we're putting the Opry segment back in, but they're all adults, and there's
yeah.
Loretta Lynn and
that's going to be, that's
Jones and
wonderful.
everybody you can think of. But it's going to be fun. We rehearsed that on Saturday. It's got some cute stuff in it.
Loretta Lynn's kind of in bad health, I think, right now.
Yeah, she is.
She
is.
had some classics. I always like the one. I guess it was You Ain't Woman Enough to Take My
I like that.
Man. And then she had another one about, I can't remember now what it was, where her husband slipped off to the bar and while Mama was washing her, bet you bottom dollar she'll come looking. Finds that I'm not there. I forget how the title of that song.
She just sang what she thought.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Probably whatever his name was.
Well,
came home a drinking one night, and that just
Mooney.
didn't work out. Mooney.
Or Do. They call him
Yeah.
Do or Mooney. And I'm rereading Jerry House's book right now, Country Music Broke My Brain.
Yeah.
And one of the segments in there, he's talking about Titanic.
Yeah.
And he said, here they say Titanic is the greatest love story ever told. Those people didn't know each other 15 minutes.
That's right.
The greatest love story ever told is Loretta and Do.
Yeah.
I mean, they fought and survived all this stuff.
Lived out of the car.
Yeah, you know,
How did she ever stay with him? Boy, she was the.
Well, he made stuff happen for her.
Yeah,
he did.
he
He actually
He
did.
was the
He was
one who
there.
pushed and pushed and pushed and drug her and if he had to whip a record producer, he'd pull him out in the alley and whip him. You know, he made that
He would
happen
also
for
whip her if she didn't do right.
Huh?
I think he would also whip her if she wouldn't do
Well,
exactly right.
and you know that, it was him.
Yeah.
Don't come home and drinking with loving on your mind, because he had a tendency to stay out late.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was,
But that, as far as Jerry House is concerned, that's the greatest love story ever told.
really.
Not the Titanic.
There's the fact that they stayed together.
Oh
I think
yeah,
is
but that's
phenomenal.
that's life. And that's what country music's all about. Melodies wrapped around life.
Yeah.
That's what it
That's
is.
a nice line.
Yeah.
Maybe turn that into a song.
That's my.
And so many people could relate to that.
That's the tagline for my publishing company. It's a matter of music,
I like
melodies
that.
wrapped around
That's
life,
beautiful. I love that.
and that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, you get a hook and you words and you alliterate and throw some words in there and wrap a melody around all of it, and you got a country song.
There you go. Or maybe your dog dies and your wife runs off. You
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do right quick here. We'll do this when we come back. Right now, we'll take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with today's show.
The Russell Barnett Automotive family has launched its new Owner Advantage program. It starts as simple as your first year's maintenance is included with the purchase. We have 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plans available. Car detailing, car rental, collision repair. Stop by one of our 5 locations and let one of our certified sales staff tell you all about it. The Russell Barnett Automotive Family Advantage program. And remember, my question is, why buy anywhere else?
All I have to do to think about what I was physically before and what I am now, and I don't ever want to go back to that original situation.
The overall mission of the rehab team is always what is best for the patient and how we can facilitate maximum potential from every resident.
Well, the most important thing to me is that I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do,
Everyday Miracles, Life Care Center of Tullahoma.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
You know, folks, here in just a minute, we're going to bring you a Millennium Moment with Bob Couch, my father-in-law, and one of Tullahoma's great historians, and another great historian of Tullahoma's was Paul Powell. And Paul Powell was a wonderful photographer and a great historian for this town. And his wife, Luella, had her 100th birthday party this weekend, this Sunday, and I want to bring up a couple of pictures. There's Miss Luella and me right there, and she's also a poet and a lovely, lovely lady. And this was at the the Church of Christ at Cedar Lane, and I just want, there's my mother-in-law, Bob Couch's wife, Dot, and my wife, Fran, and Miss Luella. Those two families have been friends for generations, and we just want to congratulate her, what a lovely lady she is, and how much she and her husband have given to our community in their service, in their sharing of history, and in their love for this town. So, Miss Luella, happy 100th, dear. With that, we'll bring you this week's Millennium Moment.
Well, good morning, all you wonderful people in TV land and camera ladies. Thanks, John, for that introduction, and Madam Elf. We're delighted to see that you made it here this morning. You know, this is a wonderful season. Hot, cold, dry, wet, whatever it is, the Christmas season always fills you with good spirits, and it's wonderful to be here. And having seen a lot of seasons in the past, I'd like to share with you a current event and the same current event many years ago, and that's the snow season. You know, the ground was blanketed with snow this morning, and until it gets waist deep, I think we could probably get around these wonderful Tullahoma streets and byways. But you know, I'm reminded of some of the days gone by. I think I mentioned it in an earlier show, that in 1939 for Easter we had an early spring, and the grass was up and the violets were up and the jonquils and tulips were all up, and sure enough, all the ladies were ready to come out in their Easter finery. Guess what happened? Saturday night before Easter, it snowed. I'm telling you, about a foot of snow, and little buttercups and jonquils, little heads were just sticking up above the snow that day. And that was not a good weather year either, because in the fall and winter of 1939 was one of the hardest freezes in the century. And the Avoca and Lake and Lake Tullahoma froze over. And I don't know whether it was Hubert Crouch or Robert Doss that bet somebody that they could drive their Model A across Avoca Lake, and I don't know what the bet was, but sure enough, they drove a Model A across Lake Avoca in the winter of 1939. In 1940, winter was not much better, because that was the time, the winter, they constructed Camp Forrest here for the big Army base, and there was mud around the clock, and they had a good group of big international dump trucks that brought crushed rock from the quarry at Normandy and Lynchburg, and I forget where the other one was, but they brought gravel into the Camp Forrest area around the clock so they could have some kind of footing to get the trucks and material in there. But one of the worst things about that winter was the ice, terrible ice. The temperature was not too low, but the ice was terrible, and the wind. And I know the trunk line of the telephone company that went down the alley between Washington and Atlantic Street, that had probably 20 cross arms on it, maybe 100 wires that took the telephone communications between Chattanooga and Nashville, and they were sagging not to the ground, but they were loaded with ice. And of course, ice is the biggest enemy of the electric company. Wind is bad and rain is bad, but ice, they just can do more. As we all know, in the ice storm just before Christmas of '98, how the service was interrupted, and we did makeshift things to live together and stay together, and we made it fine. But Mother Nature has a way of working real hard. One of the fun things about ice and snow is, if you can have some otherwise fairly decent weather, was to go sleigh riding and sledding. I know Camel's Hill, which is the second block of West Lincoln Street, before it was ever paved, was real steep, and it was gravel, and that was called Campbell's Hill. And it was fun to get on a great big piece of heavy cardboard or sled and run and jump on it about when you're in front of Domino's Pizza on West Lincoln Street, and you could slide all the way across the bridge, Rock Creek Bridge on West Lincoln Street. And it was fun. The police or public works people put a big 55-gallon oil drum in the intersection there of Lincoln and Jackson, and kept a fire going in it so folks could warm their hands, and it was a great time and a lot of fun. And the automobiles or vehicles couldn't come up that block of West Lincoln because it was so steep and slick. Another good sleigh riding hill was over behind the old Tullahoma Laundry there, and it was called Osborne's Hill, and you could go down on it in the sled, and if you didn't turn quick enough, you'd wind up in Rock Creek, and a lot of our buddies did do that, but it was so much fun. And along about the middle of the early and middle of the 70s, had a good snow on a weekend, and a lot of folks went out to the Lake Hills area near Avoca, and it was good wide roads out there and real good and slick. The sun was out, and spent the whole afternoon, that Sunday afternoon, sleigh riding. And a couple of brothers here, the twins, Charlie and Clarence Weaver, that made a big wooden sled that probably 15 and 20 people could get on out of 2x4s and some old lumber, and they called it the dingbat. And they'd get somebody in a pickup truck or a car that would drive them all over town, had blankets, and it was so much fun. But if you're bundled up good for cold weather, why, it's really, really great. If you might as well not try to get out in a T-shirt because you'll freeze and take cold, but if you're bundled up real good, why, it's a lot of fun and keep warm that way. But those days were real fun. One winter, many years ago, the weather was so severe and the snow was so heavy that people ran out of firewood, and the city fathers said you can go down to South Jackson school grounds and cut some of those old oak trees down there and get you some firewood. When the school was first built there, you could not see all the way across the campus for the big trees that were there. But that particular winter, they cut down many of those trees for firewood, and that was a 13-acre block there that was the original town square. And even years before that, I asked my grandfather one time what the earliest snow was and the latest snow, and he didn't remember when the earliest one was, but he said the latest one was the corn was already up and the gardens were green, and the yards had plenty of grass and the leaves were all out and everything. And on May the 16th of 1886, they had about 18-inch to 2-foot snow that late in the year. And I thought, surely not in May, but sure enough, somebody called in the weather people at Channel 5 a year or two ago and asked the same question: when was the first one and when was the latest one on record? And sure enough, May the 16th, 1886, blanketed Tennessee from Memphis to Kingsport with a deep snow, and it stayed, they said, for about a week. But those are some of the things that, and things of past that were related to snow. I understand that today the forecast is for, I think, a high of about 20 and possible snow flurries tonight and Saturday and Sunday, and Christmas Day is supposed to be cold but dry, no snow. But I'm wondering how it would be in where was it, in the Midwest in the last couple of weeks. They've had such terrible, deep blowing blizzard type snows. I talked to one of my suppliers in Iowa yesterday about 3 o'clock, and the lady said, "We're getting ready to go home." I said, "How come?" she said, we can't see across the street. The snow is blowing so hard, and the streets are slick, and we want to get home when we can. How is it down there in Tennessee? I said, well, the sun is out now, and we've had a few snow flurries, but it's pleasant, and if you bundle up real good, it's not too bad. I wish we were down there because we're up in all this heavy blowing snow, and but that's what you expect up there, you know, to have plenty of snow and that sort of thing. But we live in the sunny South, and I'm glad that we have the changing seasons, the 4 seasons. One nice thing I remember very well, February the 16th, 1946, when our ship had just come back from the South Pacific. We pulled into Boston Harbor, and it was 26 below zero, and the wind was blowing about 50 or 60 knots off the North Atlantic. And I'm telling you right now, I prayed if the Lord get me back to Tullahoma, Tennessee in one piece and get me thawed out, I would never, ever complain about hot weather again, and I haven't. But those were really bone-chilling days. And tell you what, this is not the end of the story, because there's a lot more to be coming pretty soon, and we'll have some tales to tell, and we thank you so much for watching, and everybody have a good, dry, warm day.
For Healing provides medical care to the working uninsured of Coffee, Franklin, and Moore counties. We are in Tullahoma from 8 to 5, Monday through Thursdays, and in Manchester on Fridays from 8 to 12. We provide primary medical care and offer an in-house disease management program.
My name is Rosie Mitchell, and I would just like to say I am blessed to have partners in my life.
Please call 455-5014 for more information. Thank you for being one of our Partners for Healing.
Hello, this is Janie Price. When my husband Ray Price would tour across the country, his favorite place to dine was Cracker Barrel Old Country Store locations. His favorite thing to order was the Uncle Herschel.
And the beauty of it all is forever you'll be holding me to.
I miss Ray dearly, and I'm so proud that his last album, Beauty Is the Final Session, is available at his favorite restaurant.
A love affair to remember.
The project includes a duet with Martina McBride and harmony vocals from Vince Gill. Ray believed this to be the best recording he had ever made.
Oh, I wish I was 18 again.
I think you'll agree when you pick up your copy of Beauty Is the Final Sessions at a Cracker Barrel Old Country Store location near you, or at crackerbarrel.com.
A world without breast cancer is a world with more birthdays. And signing up for the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer Walk will help us get there faster. The American Cancer Society invests in groundbreaking breast cancer research, and we're part of every community. In fact, 1 in 2 women newly diagnosed with breast cancer turns to us for support. Sign up today at makingstrideswalk.org. Together, we can finish the fight against breast cancer.
Welcome back. I'm so honored today to have a Swiss Miss with me on the set. This is Jackie Lawley from Grootley Lager, ready to talk about your festival, which comes up every year, right?
Yes, comes up every year for 43 years.
43 years.
Yes.
I don't know how many people know exactly where the Swiss Colony is. You want to kind of give them an idea as the location?
It's located originally in Grootley, but at some time the Postal Service combined the two towns and finally had a mayor, I guess. And it's in Grootley Lager.
Yeah.
Not very far from here in Tullahoma.
And I'm assuming that's a Swiss name.
It
Grutli
is.
lager?
Both of them are
Yeah.
Swiss, actually. The Grutli comes from the plains of Grutli. When the people came here and decided on the town, they actually named the town.
They actually named it.
And then the Lager family was a German family who lived in the next little section
Little
of the
segment.
community. But both of those towns have always been a part of the Swiss colony, or most of those two towns have been a part of the Swiss colony.
I think the history of things like that or places like that is so interesting. And so you all are preserving the history, but mainly by this, well, not mainly, but one of the things is the festival. And when is that coming up?
Yeah, that's July the 29th. It's an all-day event from 10 until 4. We have music, food, crafts, entertainment all day, hay rides for the kids in a covered wagon.
And what time does it close?
Yeah, 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, and it's
Mhm.
only $5, y'all. What a
Yeah.
wonderful outing. And it's fun, it's historical, it's just a nice thing to do. And it's rain or shine.
It's rain or shine.
Because you have an indoor facility.
We have it's not exactly indoor, it's
it's a-
covered top.
yeah.
So the pavilion is, thanks to the South Cumberland Community Fund, they gave us a generous donation. And with our funds from other donations.
Oh, let's talk
we've
about
been-
these beautiful pictures that
That's
we're looking
my
at.
granddaughter.
Is that not the most precious
Oh, my
child?
goodness. Yeah. Yeah, that's Maggie when she was about 4 years old, I guess.
Oh, sweet.
So she's now a dancing ballerina.
Oh, look at the horns. What do you call those?
The Alp horns?
The Alp horns.
Yeah, the Alp horns were
I
here
love
about 6 years ago. Compliments
Do you think
of-
they'll be coming back?
Only if somebody raises about $5,000.
I'm familiar with that story.
That's about what it costs to get them.
Oh,
and
that was the pavilion, I guess.
No, that was the barn.
The barn,
And
all right.
this is the farmhouse that we are trying to keep restored. We have looking forward to having some new windows.
And there's
That's one of the hay rides.
I love seeing mules. They're so smart.
Yes,
You
and
don't
this
have to-
guy was so good. Oh, we
That's
have
sweet.
wine and cheese tasting.
All right.
It's the Zimmerman family from.
Now, is that wine made up there?
Some of the wine is made up there. In fact, that large label is from my farm.
And
I'll be
I
supplying
love
part
this
of the wine.
picture.
That's a little building that we think is the first residence, and there's our
obviously,
pavilion.
Okay, that's
Okay.
nice. It was obviously a log cabin. That one we
Yes,
saw
log
before.
cabin, 1869. Yeah, so it would have been that first winter, that fall, that
Well,
was
that's
built.
quite a large pavilion.
It is, yes.
There's room for dancing.
We do have dancing.
And I was
yeah.
going to say, is the polka big and
Well, the music group that will be doing polka music is the Music Meisters.
Yeah.
They play in German restaurants in
Fun.
Nashville. And we have had shingle splitting before for
is
Wolf
that a
Shingles.
Is that a contest?
No,
Or
it's just a craftsman.
Just a
Yeah.
craftsman
Yeah.
cutting shingles.
Metalwork. Sometimes we have a person who does metalwork. Bazania band from Sewanee. This is their group.
and she's
and
playing.
they'll be
is
there.
that a harmonica? That
She
I'm not
has
a harmonica,
an
an accordion. I
Yes,
know what
it
a
is an
harmonica
accordion.
is.
Uh-huh. Then we have a yard sale. We have a big flea market.
So you have all kinds of stuff, and that
So
looks
it's
like
a-
fun. I love that wagon.
It's a good day. Yeah.
It is a great
Don't
day.
know that we'll have an open wagon this time, but we will have a covered wagon.
Yeah. Oh, that's even better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he is doing something with.
He's making welding metal
Welding
work.
metal work.
Mhm. Yeah. The one group that we will have this year is a guy. Oh, and there I am on the right with one of my
Sweet.
grandbabies. A
Oh, my
long time.
goodness.
In fact, several of them are on there. This
Now, obviously,
particular
all
picture.
this, a lot of this stuff is for sale.
Yes, we sell T-shirts, aprons, caps, little Swiss flags, books. Yeah, we have
And,
our Swiss colony,
you
the
have-
Grutli book.
Books for sale, and all this money that you do make goes to the next year.
To the next year, or for repairs and maintenance on the
whatever you have
building.
to do.
Yeah, and we're always looking for. The main view as you come down the driveway, the main view of the farmhouse.
I love
and
that.
The barn.
And the barn is awesome.
With the beautiful flags. Those are the flags of the cantons of Switzerland. We have 26 of them.
26
and
flags.
we display those every year for the festival. And then booths that are set up for selling food.
So you can get your lunch there, breakfast almost. What time did you say
Yeah,
you're
'cause,
open? 10? Was it?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock till 4.
Yeah.
And there's something to eat all the time.
And we have registration and sales at that particular location.
and there's some cooking going on or something.
Well,
I
these
see a
are some
skillet.
of that big container is where Miss Cleo used to make Swiss cheese.
Oh, wow. So I bet
Yeah,
you have
she
Swiss cheese
was-
for sale, do you?
Well, we're
We
going to have
should.
a cheese this year from the Sequatchie Cove Creamery.
Okay.
And they have a cheese they call Grootley.
Oh, that's
So
interesting.
we'll have samples of that this year,
That's
thanks
wonderful.
to the gal
and the
who
tools
operates that.
go all the way back to
Yeah, those are
forever.
some of the old tools, and the ones you see down on the floor are the ones that were stolen, and those oxen yokes were stolen. So we're
Oh,
missing
my.
a few things in that
That is
display.
so, and they've been stolen and probably sold somewhere.
Probably sold somewhere
far away.
Yeah.
And look
Our
at the
handmade
cradle.
baby crib.
My husband made my grandson a cradle similar to that when he was born.
Yeah,
He
this one has
wanted to make a
has
cradle. It's
big
more
wooden
like
rollers
this. Yeah, I like
on the
that.
back. Yeah. There's an interesting story about that. That was sitting down at the bottom of the stairs the Saturday morning that I went to meet with the investigator, and it had been filled, wedged between the steps, and a set of bookshelves that held vegetables, canned vegetables and fruits. And somebody, whoever was there the day before, had filled. They're the canned goods.
Oh, my.
Those were piled in that crib, and you could not move that crib.
I'll bet.
So that's why we still have it.
So that's why you still have it. Yeah.
All of those items are missing.
And these are all from possibly Switzerland, or just the early colonies.
Probably just the early colonies. Yeah. I think when
And I love the
when they came
flags.
here, they didn't bring a whole lot.
They couldn't have.
Yeah, couldn't bring
there
a whole
was
lot.
no way
on,
they could bring
on
much.
board ship. The Swiss people actually.
Oh, that's a cute idea. You
yeah,
get your picture made.
Have your picture made. Yeah.
Right.
The Swiss government actually helped people move here.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
during
wasn't
the
aware of that.
mid 1800s, you've heard of the potato famine in Ireland. Well, they were having similar difficulties across the European countries during
And
that
so
time
they
period.
were
So they
moved
were
here.
actually seeking new home sites for families. And they would assist them in selling their properties or their business, whatever they
And
might have had
assist
at the
them
time.
in getting travel.
Getting travel and
here.
yes. So my
It
great
sounds-
grandparents came a little bit later. They came in 1885, and they bought one of the farms that had been set up originally. So we have one of the original barns.
And so your grandparents were the ones that came.
My grandfather came when he was 8 years old.
Oh, my.
Yeah, the Suter family.
Yeah.
And we refer to it as the Suter Farm, and it's across from the Swiss Elementary School.
It sounds like a wonderful day, and we're getting low on time, so let's reiterate here. July 24th, 10 o'clock.
No, 29th.
Oh, 29th. I can't read. Too.
Watch those
From
glasses.
10 to 4, right. I'm in the wrong glasses. But July 29th, is that a Saturday?
That's a Saturday.
That's a Saturday.
That's
and,
a Saturday.
if you want a fun day out and a day to learn and to just have a good time, get up to Grootley Lager.
Yes, I'll be there.
How
I've
far
been
is that
there
from here?
42 years.
Is that a very
From
long
Tullahoma,
drive?
it's about 30 miles. About 40 miles.
About 40 miles.
40 miles
so
from
it's
Tullahoma.
not a bad drive. Well, we
No.
appreciate you coming, Jackie. It's great
Well,
to
thank
see you
you.
again.
It's nice. Thank
we'll
you,
look for
Peggy.
you again next year.
All
Or
right.
you can come next week if you want
We'll be
to.
trying to do it again, I'm sure.
All right, don't
Yes.
forget. Go up there and look around. We'll be back.
Oh, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the paint. Uh-oh. I just knocked a tree over. This is the paint doctor. I got the color wheel. Now, you know what a color wheel is? It is the wheel at the paint works where you pick all your colors to paint your room. It could be a multicolored beard. It could be a underarm fan. You never can tell. One thing we do know is that it's time to paint. You know, you can make your wife very happy if you go to your house and paint some rooms, or you paint the outside of the house, the inside of the house. It makes them feel very good because you work hard for them, and they like that. All women like to see their man sweat. You know, they do. Honeydew is what they do. And you get to do it too. So you go to the paint works at 1960 North Washington Street, and you see David Heikkinen over there, and he's the real paint doctor. He fix you up with color. It's so nice when the color is right. Go to Paintworks today. Martin Senior. See, Martin
C. Noah, right there. Monsignor out of the Paintworks. Bye, and we see you next time. I'm burning up.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Cool off this summer at Tullahoma Splash Island. Fun for all ages. Free 25-foot slides, lazy river, fun water features for toddlers, tasty food items are available. All this and more, only $5 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Sundays, 1 to 5. Join the fun at Tullahoma Splash Island.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, when we find the rest of my head, we'll... Let's see, there it is. There it is. I'm all there. This is Kristen Ware, and I met her at the Chamber of Commerce coffee, last month, was it?
Yes, sir.
Last month,
yes,
and
sir.
I was so impressed with this young lady and what she does, and I'm going to let her explain to you, but they have a service, and it involves helicopters and health, and getting you where you need to be expediently for a price that you can afford. And it's a new concept to me, and she's a lovely young lady, and I won't let her talk to you about that because you'll be impressed as well.
Thank
now,
you for those kind words.
Tell us and our audience about exactly what your company does and how you can help everybody in this area by giving them a good deal on helicopters.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I actually work for Air Medcare Network.
Mm-hmm.
Air Evac Life Team is my base. The base is located in Manchester.
Okay, say those things again.
Okay.
In a slow southern drawl where all these people out there can understand, because a lot of people, see, we have a lot of people, this is good for you because our audience is a target-rich environment for you.
Okay.
But a lot of them are older and speak a little slower.
Okay.
And let them, because don't let them
My grandmother
understand
tells me
that. Okay. So, what's the name of the company?
So I work for Air Medcare Network.
Air Medcare Network. Okay.
We are the largest air medical provider in the country. We offer a membership service, and our membership service costs $65 a year. That's less than 20 cents a day.
Now, you hear that out there?
That's right. That's right. Less than 20 cents a day. Now, why is membership important? Membership is important because what we do is actually provide helicopter service, medical helicopter service in rural areas. We have bases in 39 states across the country. So when you buy membership, you don't just have membership here, you have membership almost everywhere.
Right. 39 states.
39 states and nearly 300 bases across the country.
So if you're on vacation and have a problem,
correct,
you don't get socked with a big bill from some company,
correct,
in Florida or wherever you are.
Yes, sir.
You've got a membership card that you're paying $65 a year.
Yes, sir. Per person. Well, I'm sorry, it's not per person. It's per household. So it's you and anyone in your household. For instance, there are a lot of people who care for their elderly parents.
Sure.
So as long as that person lives under the roof, then that person is covered.
All right, and now that just sounds, and it did the day we talked. That sounds just unbelievable to me. So explain what happens if John Gray needs to fly to Vanderbilt for an emergency, and most of this stuff is emergency stuff.
It is,
you
absolutely.
don't take a helicopter unless you need one.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So you get called, they come get whatever, and then you don't get a bill?
No, that's why membership is important. The typical insurance company has that term, what they deem to be reasonable and customary. Right?
Reasonable and customary.
So here's an example. Say a helicopter flight costs $25,000, but your insurance company deems what is reasonable and customary to be $10,000, and you have an 80-20 policy. Right?
Right.
You're on the hook for that $2,000 of the 10, that's the 80-20, and then the balance of the bill, which is another $15,000.
Right.
So if you had membership and you fly on a helicopter that is covered under membership, then you don't owe another penny. Our company will bill like any other healthcare, or bill the insurance company like any other healthcare provider would. So that's why membership is important. It saves you a ton of money.
Ton?
A ton. And
I put an S on the end of that. Tons of money.
Well, and we all know that over the last several years, the cost of healthcare has increased. The shift to covering less has gone up, right? And your deductibles are higher, they cover less, and even your premiums are higher as well. So membership is important. Membership is also what helps to keep the base in your community. It is a service to the community.
Right.
What's interesting too about what we do, we really support veterans. If you are currently enlisted in the military, you fly for free, no questions asked. Most of our helicopters, about 90%, helicopter pilots are veterans of the military.
Congratulations and bless you.
Yes, well, you know what? It takes a lot of time, flight time, to get the number of hours required to fly a helicopter like that, and that's an important thing.
Right.
And then all of our nurses and our paramedics they're not floor nurses. These are people that have worked in trauma units and emergency rooms, and so they've responded to scenes that all sorts of things that they see.
Well, they would have to be on a helicopter like that, because when they show up, it's usually not a pretty situation.
No, it's very traumatic. And what I find amazing about what this company has done is that they have created this network. It's an amazing thing what they've done. So.
Okay, so how does someone, like if there's, if there's a group out there, if there's we have a lot of seniors watch our show because we do a senior citizen show. Okay. If somebody wants to get in touch with you individually, or maybe as the spearhead person that they might want you to come give a talk at the senior citizens or come give a talk at their business, how do they find you?
Well, they can call me. They can also go to airmedcarenetwork.com.
airmedcarenetwork.com.
Yes, and my number, is it okay if I share my number? All right, you can call me at 931-304-3150.
304-3150. She's going to leave me some information here, so if you forget all of that, you get in touch with me, and I'll help you find her. How about that?
Yes, well, I'll tell you a little story about how what we do actually started.
Okay, sure.
Okay? It was back in 1985. They sit at the base of the Ozark Mountains in West Plains, Missouri. Small community. The closest tertiary facility was 45 miles away, but by ambulance it was taking several hours, and people were not surviving. So someone bought a helicopter, retrofitted it, began to fly people out, and survival rates went up by 25%. Well, it became costly, and so the gentleman that owned the helicopter went to the local community and said, if everyone everyone in this county will pay $5 a year, we can keep this service in flight for our community. And that was how membership started. So over the years, they've built new bases, they've acquired smaller companies that do the same thing, and that was how the network was created.
That's really great.
Yeah, and they only service rural communities. So.
I love it. So where's the closest one to Tullahoma? Where are you located out of? Where do you operate out of?
Well, I live in McMinnville, so I'm in Warren County, but I cover Warren, Cannon, Coffee, Grundy, Moore, and Rutherford.
Okay.
We have bases all over the place. There's a base in Winchester. There's a base in Manchester. There's a base in Fayetteville. Oh my goodness, where else? North of us, we have lots of bases in Kentucky.
So you're minutes away.
Correct.
Not hours,
no,
not a bunch of minutes.
And that's what's important about that, what they call the golden hour. That's why having a helicopter service in your community is important, because that golden hour of getting you from where you, a horrible accident scene to the proper care that you need.
Thank you so much for being here. Know that you're welcome to come back. Give this young lady a call, folks. We all need to take care of ourselves, and why not do it for free, basically. $65 a year, and you need a helicopter, that's almost free as far as I'm concerned. Give her a call. We'll be back after these messages.
The Animal Shelter has served Tullahoma dogs for nearly 30 years. Now, you can help us build a bigger and better no-kill shelter. Your tax-deductible gift is matched dollar for dollar, so come on, bark it forward and donate now to have your tax-deductible gift matched. Make your check payable to the COT Shelter Building Fund and go to tullahomatn.gov to see all the unique gifts available for your generosity. For more details, you can call City Hall at 455-2648.
Did you take your medicine?
Oh, gosh, I forgot it.
Her nurse. You need a claim number? Her personal assistant. Let me just grab her housekeeper. Her cook. Her accountant. When I started taking care of Mom, I didn't realize the challenge of playing so many roles. But above all, I'm still her daughter.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving to connect with experts and other caregivers. Together we can better care for ourselves and the ones we love.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Rickman.
And this is Pat Welch, and we're here today for segment 53 of the Conversations with John and Pat. What you got, John?
Well, this little song I wrote a good ways ago. I don't know if I've done it in Tullahoma or ever out, but we're going to try it. I've been saved. I was lost, but Jesus found me, burdened down with guilt and sin. He lifted me up from my burden to a mountaintop where I had never been. I've been saved. I've been snatched from the fire. I've been saved by a higher power. Jesus came into my heart and made me whole. Now I know I'm right with Jesus in my soul. All of my life I'd heard about Jesus, how he bled and died on Calvary. I never knew till I met Jesus. Those precious drops of blood were shed for me. Now I've been saved. I've been snatched from the fire. I've been saved by a higher power. Jesus came into my heart and made me whole. Now I know I'm right with Jesus in my soul. One of these days I'll cross that river over to the other shore, and in that land I'll be with Jesus. There I shall dwell with him forevermore. Now I've been saved. I've been snatched from the fire. to my heart made me whole. Now I know I'm right with Jesus in my soul. Now I know I'm right with Jesus in my soul.
All right, John.
That's fun.
It was. And you need to play that outside of Marshall County a little bit more often.
Well, you're right. I need to do that more often, I guess.
Yeah.
Never know how well it's accepted. With sometimes you think, did I write that? Will it be received well? And I think that you can't get more basic.
Yeah.
Than that.
Is that? You intended that to be a segue for today's program, didn't you?
Yeah, because we're going to talk about a cemetery.
That's right. We have noted several times that both you and I may have a little bit of a morbid affinity to old cemeteries. We like to go into old cemeteries and glean the history from it and kind of figure out who's in there and how they got there and that kind of thing. And we also like old churches. And I travel into the Knoxville area, calling on lumber yards every other week. And so every other week, I travel a highway, I believe it's 411. It's a state highway that's a 2-lane out in the country. And between Seymour and Maryville, I started passing this really pretty old brick church with a head of cemetery in the front, and from the front of the church you can see the Smokies. It's a really really picturesque place. Yeah. And the name, I finally, after passing it 4 or 5 times, I couldn't stand it any longer. I got a little bit ahead time-wise one day and pulled off. And the name of the church is Eusebia Presbyterian Church. And that area was at least one time was called Eusebia, and it had basically it was Tennessee Frontiers people that would have come from North Carolina. A lot of them were descendants or directly had fought in the Revolutionary War and got these land grant rewards for their service, and that they would have gone to North Carolina and then immigrated or moved through the mountains to East Tennessee. There were about 40 families that were mostly Scotch-Irish that settled in that area. And let's see here, I may have got to go to my notes, John. The first Presbyterian preacher who preached there, and I believe the Presbyterian faith was the dominant religion of Christianity for the Scotch-Irish. The first preacher that came there was a frontier Presbyterian preacher, and when he preached, he had a musket beside him and a powder
just in case.
Yeah, just in case the Indians got a little bit restless during the sermon. But he preached there in, I believe it was 1786, and that's considered the establishment date for Eusebia Church. And he named that area Eusebia in this sermon that he first preached there, and again in 1786. And he told the congregation, the people that were assembled there, that it was Eusebia was a Greek word that meant reverence toward God, which I've done a lot of research last night on the internet, and the more I looked, the more interesting it got. He left that area and supposedly wanted to preach and convert Indians, and so the first really full-time pastor they had was a guy named Glendon Blackburn. And he was the first full-time pastor there, and I think he came on board in 1794. And he went into great preparation for his sermons, and the average length of his sermon was supposed to have been 2 hours, and he preached one time for 3.5 hours. And that site where pull that church back up one more time, Philip, if you don't mind.
You know, Pat, the restaurants would have been closed after that, wouldn't they?
That would have shut them down. They would have. Somebody would have lobbied for them to cut it off maybe a little bit. But on that site was a log church originally, and then over time they built 2 frame churches, and the present church, all of this was on the same location. It was started in 1930 and completed in 1936, and that would have been, of course, right at the height of the Depression. That was an industrious congregation that would have been able to build that church, because it is a really, really pretty brick church that, again, would have been in a very rural area during the height of the Depression.
Before Tennessee became a state?
That's right. No, it would have been after that.
1796 is when Tennessee.
Oh yeah. When it was first established, it was before it was a state. In fact, I think it was part of the old state of Franklin. There's a cemetery that starts just behind me when I was taking that picture that's got hundreds of markers. Some of them are so old that the weather has worn the writing completely off, but they won't take in respect to the deceased, they have not taken any of those markers out. The first burial there, though, was in 1790, so it is a really old cemetery. One of my trips, I stopped to go meandering through the cemetery, and I came to a stone of go ahead and pull it up. Now, that's Andrew C. Hafley, Hafley, and he was born in 1838 and died in 1907. And right below his date there, it says that he was from Company A, 3rd Tennessee Cavalry. Well, I assumed that was, since it's Tennessee Cavalry, that I mistakenly thought he was fought the Confederate side, but most of the rural Upper East Tennessee remained loyal to the Union. That was a Union cavalry. And below that is one of my favorite verses where he's quote, or the scripture says, "Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints," and that's right below this the donation of the Civil War service that he had. I looked that company up. Company A of the 3rd Regiment was all made up of Unionist people from Knox County and Blount County, and this cemetery is in what now is Blount County. And that cavalry, for most of the war, they were assigned to guard railroads in both Middle Tennessee and North Georgia and North Alabama, which once it became in Union control, the Confederates would try to come up there and tear the railroad up and disrupt supply movements and so forth. And Nathan Bedford Forrest, who was born in Chapel Hill, John, you're well aware of him, he was trying to stop him. He was trying to tear the roads up, or the railroads up, and of course these people were trying to stop him. They've served Company A, or the 3rd Regiment Tennessee Cavalry, served at Stones River, and their next major assignment was in the Tullahoma campaign, which lasted June 23rd to July 7th, and they were also involved in the last battle, basically in Middle Tennessee, which is the Battle of Nashville. And at one time, that regiment had about 1,600 men. And final records show they lost 546 people. 10 of them, 2 officers and 8 enlisted men, were killed in battle, and all the rest, 536, died of disease. Which that's pretty incredible that they had that much contagious disease that it almost wiped them out. Now, another interesting part of this is that when I said that they guarding railroads in Middle Tennessee and North Alabama, they were in Athens, Alabama one time. Near a railroad trestle, and guess who attacked this Union cavalry? Nathan Bedford Forrest, and he captured a large group of them, and they were in prisoner of war camp for about a little over a year, I believe. And at the end of the war, the Confederacy gave up these prisoners before the actual terms of peace were finally settled out, and they moved them to Memphis. And they put a lot of them there on a boat, and they were a steamer, and they were going to take them up north to let them go free. And the greatest maritime tragedy of American history was this boat called, the name of the boat was a Sultana, and it had capacity of 376 men, and they put 2,155, most of them were Union soldiers, on that boat to to go north, and this was in the spring, I believe, and had a lot of flood waters, and so the Mississippi course flows south, and this boat's needing to go north in fast waters, way overloaded. Supposed to carry 376 and had over 2,100, and they had 4 boilers for the steamship, and 3 of them exploded 7 miles north of Memphis, and great loss of life. Something like 1,196 of them died, and I think this event would have had more publicity and more notation in history if it wasn't for the fact that happened the day after Lincoln was assassinated. So much of the national media was concentrated on that assassination instead of all that loss of life. But 260 people that would have served with this Hafley gentleman were drowned or killed during the explosion itself. And I can't find out whether Hafley was he captured at Athens, or he was, not all the whole group, of course, was captured, but he lived to 1907. So good
history lesson, Pat.
The more I looked at it, the more interesting I got, and I can promise, John, I can promise you and our viewership that won't be the last time I stop by the Eusebia Presbyterian Church and Cemetery. It is a wealth of history in that.
Pat, thank you so much.
And John, I talked to you yesterday on the phone too. We're now that we have found by accident a Union soldier, we'll come back with a segment that I have found in the past of a Moore County burial of a Confederate cavalryman, and we'll bring that up at a later time and let people get ready for that. And so and we appreciate management letting us go a little bit over time today. And that concludes segment 53.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for tuning in, for bearing with me too. Thank y'all.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat.
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Hi, I'm Cindy.
And I'm Jacob. I'm the Rooster.
And I'm the Red Mane. And we would like to welcome you to
Roosterwear.
Yes, Roosterwear is a cottage industry producing accessories for men, women, children, babies, and pets. All items are hand cut and sewn locally. Roosterwear specializes in bow ties, pocket squares, scarves, cufflinks, neckties, and aprons of all sizes for all ages. Baby products include onesies, diaper covers, bibs, and burp pads. All bow ties, tie it yourself or pre-tied, come with an adjustable neckband. All products can be made with the material of your choice, as special orders are available upon request. Don't be standing back looking at fashion. Create your own with Roosterwear.
Come visit us at
roosterandredmaiden.com
to find our handcrafted designs for
the cock of the walk.
This is an American Red Cross blood donation alert. The Red Cross is experiencing a severe winter blood shortage. There is an emergency need for blood and platelet donors to give now and help save hospital patient lives. Donations are critically needed so that patients can continue to receive the life-saving treatments they need. Resolve to make a difference and help save lives by giving blood or platelets now. Use the Blood Donor app, visit redcrossblood.org, or call 1-800-RED-CROSS to make an appointment.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
welcome back. I am here with my favorite author, Sheila Robertson.
Yeah.
I was about to say Robinson, but I knew it was wrong. Anyway, Sheila Lawson Robertson, and she has just finished. How long has it been since the book was finished?
Probably about 6 weeks, 2 months ago.
6 weeks to 2 months, and this is Valleys of the Shadow, and I'd like to try to show this cover.
Yeah, that's the front cover.
Absolutely beautiful. It's dark, so I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a story of abuse, isn't it?
Domestic violence and abuse, yes.
And I think in this society, there's way more violence and abuse than any of us really know.
Or want to know, probably, but
it's a
true.
frightening thing. And you have made the story about, you want to tell who it's about?
Yes, this is about Janice Hampton Quick, and it's a true story. She was a victim of domestic violence and abuse for 12 years.
And that's a long time.
A long time. And her story of abuse ended in 1974 in a tragic shooting locally. And this book is about the life before and then her life afterward.
During and after. And
that's what I mean.
I think the big shooting. Focus is that you're going to have a book signing.
Yes.
July 29th at NHC, and isn't that a nice facility?
It's beautiful. It is gorgeous.
I'm so proud of that for our community. And Janice resides there, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. She lives there now. And Miss Colley, the manager, I guess you'd say, of, I don't know exactly her title, but she's the overseer of NHC. She has graciously allowed us to have the book signing or book release there.
Maybe the administrative director.
That's
probably,
it.
Yeah.
She's allowed us to have the book release party there.
So where in the building will you be?
In the main dining room when you come in the main front doors.
Okay. And that is July 29th, which is not so far away.
No, a week from Saturday.
And is this your first big book release? I know you've done books.
Yeah.
But as far as a big book signing, release, and all that, is this one of the first ones?
This is probably the biggest one, but the first book in my Fairhaven Forest series and my husband's first book at the same time released, and we had a book release party in the center court of the mall.
Okay.
And invited a couple hundred people, but this we want to invite the entire town.
It sounds really interesting to me. Do you want to give a brief overview of the story?
Yes. Janice met her husband, soon-to-be husband, in high school, and she was just a young lady. She was not quite 15 when she met him. And so they dated for several years. She had some concerns while they were dating. But
I think that's something that's worth mentioning, the fact that young people often, during their dating times, don't realize that they may be involved in a possessive type of relationship.
That's true. If someone is manipulating you and controlling you or hitting you,
or wanting to know where you are every minute of the day.
Yes, using fear to try to control where you're at or what you're doing, or in any way wanting to just be on top of you all the time. Just got to know where you're at and everything you say to people, and try to isolate you from your friends and family.
How long was it before she recognized that she was in a tremendously abusive relationship?
They had been married about, I believe it was a month to 6 weeks when he first started really beating her. You know.
So that would have been the time to book and run.
Yeah, probably would have been the time.
Grab a gun. I'm sorry, no, I should have said that.
That's the way you feel sometimes.
That's a horrible thing.
It is. For a young woman, though, at the time when she married him, she was 2 months away from being 17.
Wow.
And so she finished, he was going away in the service. He was being assigned in South Florida, and they didn't want to be separated. So she married him and went with him. And now she's isolated from all her family and everything. And
which is what the abuser's big thing is, to separate you. And that was just an automatic separation.
Yes. It was.
It escalated probably from there.
It did. And as a young girl, you know, you've got these ideas of what a perfect life would be like, a perfect husband, perfect family and children. And you just, sometimes you can't see far enough down the road to think, this isn't going well. So, you know, my advice to girls like that is get out. Don't expect him to change.
Get out. You can't
change
people.
No. And if he changes years down the road, that's different.
Themselves. That's right.
But my advice would be just get out. And there's plenty of places, well, not plenty of places, but there are places now that you can go for help.
Oh, yeah.
Haven of Hope.
Haven of Hope. And the other one was
Blue Monarch.
Blue Monarch
help too.
is another place.
But there's not quite enough, but at least there's places now. In the 60s and 70s, when this story takes place,
you couldn't call the police in those days.
No, the authorities, their mindset was, and actually this was across the country, this wasn't just local, that domestic violence was a family issue and should stay in the home and be settled in the home.
And you should work it out.
Work it out. And
But that
sometimes you
doesn't
just
happen.
can't.
You just can't do it.
No. So
this is quite a lengthy book.
It is.
You know, I am so
I'm
proud of you. I was going to say, can you estimate how many hours you may have put in on this book? A lot, I know.
Well, it was a year.
Yeah.
Basically a year in the writing. I didn't write every minute of every day, of course. And
I love that you have pictures in here.
Yes.
And how many segments would you say it's divided into?
Well, it's divided into their dating life and then their early married life up through as the abuse spiraled downward. You know, it got worse and worse. And they actually moved back to Tullahoma. And then I guess you'd say the not exciting part, it's not exciting, the tragedy in the middle of the book when she was actually shot.
Yeah.
And then after that, the healing and what all happened in her life and how she healed from this emotionally and physically.
Forged through the event.
Yes, and her children, how her children overcame things in their lives. And then there's a section in the back called Where Are They Now? And
oh, that's good.
It's about them today and each one of them, her and her 3 children. And
how well they've done.
Yes, her children are very successful, very morally good people. They're wonderful Christian people, and they're very successful in their businesses and in their life and in their families.
Oh, tell me how much this book costs.
$14.99.
That's a good deal. That doesn't include tax. $14.99
No,
plus
but
tax.
it's tax-free weekend that day.
Oh, awesome. So if you go on July 29th, which is a couple of weeks away, from 2 to 4, you can get a book tax-free.
Yes, and we're going to not make it $14.99 that day. We're going to make it $15 because I don't want to fool with those pennies. So it'll be $15. Yeah. And you can get them.
And you'll sign it.
Yes, Janice will too.
Janice will sign it.
Yes.
And I think that's one. For people that don't know her, she is a paraplegic.
Quadriplegic.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
She is
due to the shooting.
Yes. She has been a quadriplegic for 42 years.
Yeah. And that in itself is a terrible thing to have to live through. But amazingly, she has come through it with a lot of class and dignity.
She has, and she's accomplished a lot since the tragedy.
And I think how lucky she is to have you as a friend.
Well,
you are
she's sweet.
You are so into doing it right and telling it with compassion and not to be judgmental. Because I think sometimes it's good to say something about the abuser. They probably were abused themselves, and what they need is help. And you will not get them help unless you turn them in or leave them or
get away from them.
You cannot enable that behavior because it just gets worse. So there is Sheila's website? No, your email address.
That's my email address.
Right,
yes.
Fairhaven84 at bellsouth.net. So you could email her if you were interested in a book. And I certainly want to be at this book signing. I am excited for you and proud of you.
Thank
This is a wonderful thing to do. And gosh, huge to get all this done. I love the artwork. And that's all time we're going to have.
That's okay.
But if you'll just remember July 29th.
Please come.
At NHC for the book signing.
2 to 4.
Thanks, Sheila.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you too.
We'll be
We get closer to a world with more birthdays when we take cancer patients by the hand. We help them find answers and guidance and hope, and give them more candles to light. We're the American Cancer Society. Help create a world with more birthdays at morebirthdays.com.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
They have left me on the set all by myself. I'm so excited about Sheila Robertson's book, and I would encourage all of you to go to the NHC building and get in on her book signing, because I think it's a wonderful thing for her to do. John Gray, come and join us.
I've been talking helicopters.
Have you been talking helicopters?
Yeah, what a delightful
young lady. Have you ever been up in one?
Oh, I've flown. I've taken that $20,000 flight to Vanderbilt. And
oh, wow.
Taken one to St. Thomas.
Oh, that's right, with your son.
Well, I've been on one to St. Thomas twice myself for heart.
Oh, you have? I didn't realize you'd been twice.
Yeah. I've had two heart issues.
Wow.
One time was a stent, and the other time was 5 bypasses.
5
out of 6. I don't know why they didn't get the other one.
That's scary.
Why they didn't get the other one while they were in there?
You had the big one then, didn't you? My husband had a heart attack.
Yeah.
And the most exciting ambulance trip I've ever been on was I was doing MAME at the Civic Center, and sweating and in dance costume, and Ralph had bleeding ulcers, and he was rushed by ambulance. Well, the ambulance caught on fire. I mean, that's not a funny thing. It was not.
Wasn't funny at the time, was it?
At the time, so we had to stop and change everything. And anyway, that was just one of those things. But 2 helicopter rides.
Well, and the thing about it is after the second one, I got a bill. Because for $2,500, and they said that the insurance was only paying for an ambulance.
They didn't pay for the helicopter?
They didn't pay for the helicopter, and I said, don't send me the bill, send the doctor the bill. I didn't make that choice.
That's true.
You're telling me I didn't have anything, and I never did pay it. But if you pay $65 for a year, you'll never have to worry about it. Isn't that amazing for your whole household?
For a year?
$65 a year covers your whole household, and you get on a helicopter, you'll never have to pay a penny. Isn't that incredible?
That's something I didn't know. Yeah.
That's what she was talking about. Yeah.
So that I wasn't listening because I was.
You were getting ready for this over here.
Right. So I missed that, but that sounds like a good deal.
It is. That's an incredible deal. Just like this book right here.
It's an incredible
John
deal.
Gray's first edition book right here, Low Coup. You can find one at Couches downtown Tullahoma, or you can email me at johngray@pheadtv.com. That's H-less John Gray at pheadtv.com, and get your copy of one of the original copies of John Gray's Low Coup.
How long did you work on that?
How long did I work on this?
When did you start that?
I started writing these about a year. I've been writing them about a year.
I
wrote one every day for 30 days, and then once I stopped doing that, I just as an idea comes along, I write them down.
I like it. I do. I think it's really interesting. Everything you do in life is about the sale. So every now and then, you should look like you belong where you're trying to go. Dress right. That's been one of my favorites.
Yeah, and I mean, that's important.
Don't wear your pants below your but
don't let you. Nobody wants to see your underwear hanging out. Nobody. Nobody
really
wants to
don't think
see
they
your
do.
underwear hanging out, folks.
So-
Guarantee it. So we appreciate you folks watching, and don't forget about the other stuff we have. And football season's right around the corner. We'll be getting ready to do the John Ollie fifth quarter show again this year, and support our Tullahoma Wildcat football team. And any other thing we do, we'll have Christmas parades coming up, and we'll do all kinds of stuff, all the things we've been doing for 25 years here on Channel 6, Charter Channel 6 TV, now located on 193, also on your internet at Channel 6, the number 6, thelink.com. You can see all of our programs online, and for free. It's a on-demand, free online service for you. Watch our senior citizen show. Watch our political shows.
And this show airs.
This 5 times a week.
Me 5 times. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday,
Saturday, and Thursday morning.
Thursday morning.
Thursday morning at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
So just watch us and have fun. Our Monday night food show has just gone crazy. We appreciate all of you out there. Thanks so much. Our sponsors.
Maybe there's somebody out there that wants to be a sponsor that doesn't know how.
That's right. All you got to do is call me. Call 931-581-5238. And I told that girl to talk slow. 581-5238. Give us a call. We'd love to have you be part of this merry little troupe of clowns and entertainers.
Oh,
See
yeah.
you next time.